He studied the bomber's letters for weeks, the phrasing, the rage, the precision, and then he made a prediction that would change law enforcement forever. He said the bomber was a man, middle-aged, between 40 and 50. He was Slavic, possibly Polish or Czech. The formal language in his letters suggested an Eastern European immigrant background. He was a former employee of Con Edison. This was personal revenge. He lived with an older female relative, likely a mother or aunt, and had never married, and he lived in Connecticut. He studied the bomber's letters for weeks. The phrasing, the rage, the precision. How could he possibly know that? Because the bomber was commuting. The letters were postmarked near the city, but the attacks were in Manhattan. He was coming from somewhere else. Then Dr. Brussel added one final detail. When you catch him, he will be wearing a double-breasted suit, and it will be buttoned. The police laughed. A suit? How could he know that? The police thanked him and filed his report. They didn't believe a word of it. George Metesky lived at 17 4th Street in Waterbury, Connecticut. To his neighbors, he was invisible, a quiet man who lived with his two sisters. He had never married and worked as a mechanic, but George Metesky had a secret. In 1931, he was injured in an accident at a Con Edison plant. A boiler backfired. He went on disability and demanded compensation. Con Edison fought him. They dragged the case out for years. Eventually, they won, and they fired him. He returned home to Connecticut, bitter, obsessed, and silent. For 9 years, he carried that anger inside. Then, in 1940, he decided to make them listen. For 16 years, George Metesky built bonds in his garage. He took the train to New York, planted them, and returned home. His sisters never knew. He might have gotten away with it forever, but in 1957, a clerk at Con Edison remembered the old files. He pulled Metesky's personnel record. Inside were hundreds of letters, angry letters, threatening letters. The language was identical to the bomber's notes. The police had their man. January 21st, 1957. A cold winter dawn. Detectives knocked on the door of 17 4th Street. George Metesky's sister answered and let them to the living room. Gray-haired, slightly heavy-set. He was 53 years old, medium height. When the detectives told him why they were there, he didn't run, he didn't fight. He simply nodded. "I've been waiting for you," he said. As they prepared to take him in, a detective asked him to get dressed. Metesky walked to his closet and opened the door. Inside, hanging neatly, was a double-breasted suit. He put it on, and then slowly and carefully, he buttoned it. Every button perfectly aligned, exactly as Dr. Brussel had predicted 16 years earlier. The detective who witnessed it later said the hair on his arms stood up. At the station, Metesky confessed to everything: 33 bombs, 16 years, and 15 injuries. "I never wanted to kill," he said. "I just wanted them to feel the pain I felt." When asked why he started, he gave the same answer every time. George Metesky was found insane. He spent the next 16 years at the Matawan State Hospital for the criminally insane, exactly as long as he had terrorized New York. In 1973, he was released. He returned to the same house in Connecticut and lived there until his death in 1994. At the age of 90. As for Dr. James Brussel, his work on the Mad Bomber case changed everything. His methods became the foundation of modern criminal profiling. It was the first time psychiatry had been used to help catch a criminal, and it would not be the last. For 16 years, George Metesky was the phantom who haunted America's greatest city, a quiet man with a grudge, a bomber who never wanted to kill, only to be heard. Sometimes the most dangerous people aren't the ones who stand out. Sometimes they are the quiet ones, the ones next door, the ones no one ever suspected.